Back to another episode of Full Zor. And in this episode, the microphone is clipped onto my polo. So we will not have that many audio issues while I wave my hands around to demonstrate what we're about to do next. But in all seriousness, we're going to go over the second part of the RAM. We're going to finish making a full 256 byte RAM module so we can hold 256 different 8-bit numbers in our RAM so we can use it for our computer and for calculations, certain games, and just certain stuff that we would like to run. Because this is going to be a super computer, not necessarily just a super CPU. So we're going to have a full computer with this, meaning we'll have a display, the RAM, whatever graphics that we need in order to make this run. But this is going to be the second part of the RAM. So we're going to run the intro and hop into the simulation because this one might be a long episode. I don't know yet because I haven't edited it. But please stay tuned and watch the complete end. And also, if you want to help the channel out, just take a look in the description and you can see some of the links that we have. We also have a Discord link if you want to join the Discord server where we talk about computers and electrical engineering. But let's roll the intro. So we're in the simulation right now, and I did make a few changes that I do want to share with you before we dive deeper into building this RAM module that we really want to make. So first things first is let's look at our D flip-flop. So as you can see, it's a completely different mechanism behind how it works, and it's not because the other mechanism was inherently wrong. It's just because this one gives us a very unique ability, and that is every time we reopen the program or whatever, I'll show you real quick right here. The output will always be 0. So if you remember in the past computer episodes, if you're a dedicated subscriber, if we open up a new register cell, the output data that the software gives it is completely random because it doesn't know if the NAND gates should be on or off. It just makes it completely random. But if we redesign, excuse me, if we redesign the register in a different way, to, like this, or I guess not like that. It's a data latch. Fuck. Okay. If we redesign the SR latch like this using an OR and a NOT gate, we can get a mechanism that will always start off in the off position until we decide to manipulate the data. And this was thanks to a comment. I don't remember what comment it was, but I did read it and I thought it was a good idea. So we're going to implement it now. Now let's go ahead and make our RAM. So we already made our RAM cell, right? Which is just this, nothing really too big. Now we're going to make 256 bytes of RAM. So, excuse me, two of my coughs. I'll try to mute it out when I'm editing, but I am a little sick right now, and we'll just have to deal with it because this video will be posted at least once a week, and I'm pretty much sick all week. So, now let's get some buses. I'm kind of not thinking too, man. Okay, good. So now we have all of the inputs connected and then the outputs connected. And now we need to make a few more for us determining what cell we want to access with the rows and column buttons. And then we want to do also our two other buttons right here, our output button and our save button. and then our clock button. So we're going to do the rows and columns first, which that can be represented with a 4-bit number. So, man, excuse me. Sorry about that. A little forward. Okay, but before we go any further with this, I completely forgot we need to make a 2-bit decoder so we can use this 4-bit um, row and column thing. So we're going to save this real quick as our, what is it, 16 or 16 byte RAM. And then we're going to make our little decoder, just a 2-bit decoder. That's all it is. It's nothing special. So, okay, so we made the decoder. Now let's go back into the RAM real quick so we can finish this out, essentially. So now we have both of our decoders. One's going to be for the columns, other one's going to be for rows. We're going to do this, the top number for the rows, and then the bottom number for the columns. So, just like that. Okay, so this is essentially it. Now we can use this 4-bit number to decipher which cell we would like to access. And it doesn't really matter that this cell is considered 00 because as long as we remember what's stored in 00, it it really won't matter for the full RAM register. I just did that so these wires won't like overlap as much, and it just might look a little cleaner, but it really won't because a RAM cell gets pretty messy. We're gonna say this real quick just in case I don't have to ever redo this again. Now let's go with the clock. Let's wire up the clock real quick, which this one's gonna suck. Okay, so it's all wired up, so let's test it to make sure that this thing works. So we're gonna store the number, we're gonna put this on 2, and this number on 2, just for our benefit, the viewer benefit too. So let's say we want to, store the number 16 and to RAM cell 2. Actually, we'll go with 6. We're going to save it, and then we're going to delete the data. Yeah, excuse me. We're going to we're going to save it, clock it. There we go. And then we're going to output it and clock it. Oh, wait, we didn't save the data. Haha. Save, clock. There we go. Out, clock, and there we go. And it works. So our RAM register, it looks like it does work. We'll put a arbitrary number into, we'll say 14, save it, clock it, and we're going to output it, clock it, and it looks like it works too. So this is our RAM, and it works. So now we're going to use this chip, and we're going to do the exact same thing, except to make a 64 or 256 byte of RAM. So 16 times 4 is 256. And we're doing the exact, I'm kidding you not, it's the exact same process that we just done. So before we do the address, we're gonna do the save, the clock, and the output first because the address is gonna be a little tricky since we have to convert an 8-bit address into 16 4-bit addresses. So let's do the easier stuff first. So we're gonna say this real quick. It's 256 RAM. And give me a second to think too about how I want to do this. Okay, so we need to go back into the other RAM real quick, and I'm gonna have to add a little element right here, and this is gonna be wait. Damn, this is gonna suck. Yes, we gotta redo a little bit of this right here, um, which is fine, but this is how we're about to solve this issue. And it may not be the best way, but it's my way, and it's a way that we are going to do this. So essentially, what we're going to do is we need a 1 to 8 bit, and then we need an 8 bit to 1 bit. There we go. We're going to take all of this, move this back, give us a little bit more room. Take this tri-state buffer, and like I said, there's people who are smarter than me probably in the comments, so they have a better idea. I'll read it and be more than open to implementing this into the design. But as of now, this is the method that we're going to use, and then we're going to have something called the enable pin. And we're going to do the same thing that we did. So this is going to be the column and then the row, right? Just a little and, nope, not and. No. Oh my God. Okay, and then if these two are lit up, it's going to enable us to enable what the address should be for that, and then we can access that to the rest of our stuff in here. The top is going to be for the rows. Okay, so this is it. So now we can access a specific register, RAM cell, or whatever, with our 256 gigabytes of RAM. And then we're going to have to kind of redo a little bit of this, but not really. Oh man, this is going to look so bad. I really don't want to redo this though. I think I'll just redo the little. Because we did it. We made the damn RAM cell. This took forever to wire. If you can't tell by the time lapse. But name these real quick. Okay, so this is the address. Um, this is data. Okay, so let's say we're gonna arbitrary value 98 into, we'll say 96. Okay, so we're going to save it, clock it, and then if we output it, we do see the same number. So it's looking like it is working pretty well. So let's say we have a different value, save, or let's output it. It should be nothing. Yep. Save, clock. Yep. So it looks like the RAM is working very well. And this is already, I mean, for me, this has been 40 minutes of straight up wiring, but the time lapse version of this should be shorter. But this is going to be a long video. But this is our 256 RAM. So the RAM is now done. And it's all in this tiny little chip, which is awesome. This is awesome for us because now we can run more beefy programs and we can do more cool stuff with our programs with our very new RAM and then our very new super ALU module. So we can do a lot of cool stuff with this, save it into the RAM and whatever. So next episode, we're going to go look into our program counter, our control unit, the other basic elements of a CPU. We're going to implement them in. But thank you so much for watching. And if you want to help support the channel, all the links that would help are in the description. We have a Discord link if you want to join the Discord server where we talk about your electrical projects. I have my schematics on a site, Patreon, whatever, all the good stuff. My email, if you want to email me a personal question, all in the description. But thank you so much for watching.